biggest kind of part of these ascension symptoms, we can call it, is random. The reason why I call all of these symptoms random is because we always try and look for a cause. Are you like that too? Like, I'm so A-type like that. Oh my God, like I've got this rash on my arm, and like, where did it come from? And it must be that dish soap that I was using, or it must be the plant that I touched the other day. No, most of your symptoms, especially all of your emotional symptoms, are all coming from random things that you didn't deal with. The breakup, the conversation with your dad, that past life that you had once. All right, it's all random because there's no cause in the present moment. So we have to trust the process of releasing by sitting with it in objective observation. That's what it comes down to. So also in the emotional body, we'll see more triggers and reactions, more anxiety overall. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Hopping into old habit patterns is very common when we're going through ascension and awareness. And then feeling lost, lonely, or unsettled. I don't know about you guys, but like in the past couple of months, especially, I have been like craving something, but I have no idea what I'm craving. I try a bunch of different foods. Nope, still feel unsatisfied. I try having sex. Nope, still feel unsatisfied. I try drinking extra water. Nope, still feel unsatisfied. I try taking a walk in the woods. Nope, still feeling unsatisfied. Like there's been this kind of like unsettled restlessness of like, what's going on? And we're really just being taught to surrender in that moment rather than need to fill a void with something else. But that's what our human minds go to. Where's the cause and what's the effect? What's the problem? What's the solution? With this kind of stuff, there is no solution. By feeling lonely, there is no solution. Be with yourself. Enjoy that time. If you feel anxious or unsettled when being alone, it means that there are layers of yourself that you don't want to look at. And you have that apprehension because there's something there that needs to clear. Okay, so just kind of being aware of that. And then the spiritual body. What happens when you move into a higher frequency in the spiritual body? Nothing, nothing, nothing happens in the spiritual body. I could be in 3D right now and my spiritual body would still be existing in the highest frequency, not even the fifth dimension, just the highest frequency. The spiritual body is just thankful that you're moving on. That's it. Oh yeah, some honorary mentions here. When we move into 5D frequency as well, time and manifestation, I wanted to mention this. So time gets weird. Like, I mean, we've been here for, I think, maybe a week now. And every day on this property feels like it's a month. It's the most bizarre feeling ever. I think also partly because like it gets so dark so late here. Like last night it was 8:30 and I'm like, I'm pretty hungry for dinner. Like I should probably make something. I thought it was like 5:30 p.m. It's just been such a trip being here. Obviously a different environment will do that, different time zone will do that, but it's been odd. But time does act differently in the fifth dimension frequency. Sometimes it speeds up and sometimes it slows down. The more attuned you get to what you want, the more in control you are of time itself. And that's pretty dope. The other thing too is with manifestation, let's see if I can draw another picture here for you. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is you now, looking good. This is what you want. Could be anything, could be anything. But right now, for this example, it's a house. You want a house to call your own. The more clear your vibration gets as you shift away from attachment and reaction and 3D polarity and fight or flight, the quicker manifestation happens. So here you are now. You're like, I want a house. But I don't have enough money for a house and my father wouldn't approve and I don't even have a partner. So why would I get a house because I don't have kids? And what about this thing over here? And my job doesn't really serve me. So what about that? Your manifestation from what you want, from what you're intending, has to shift through all of these roadblocks to finally manifest what it is that you want. The more layers you have around you, the longer it's going to take to manifest what it is that you want. When you're like, here I am, I want a house. I just got deja vu, like mad deja vu. It's so wild. From like a couple months ago, I saw this in a dream. I was like, where am I right now? And what am I doing? And who am I talking to? So funny. Anyway, okay. So if you're clear, if your energy is clear, but you're here right now and you're like, yeah, the truth is I can't afford a house and I don't have a partner. And, I don't know if I would, my parents would approve or all of the things. All of these things still exist. But because you're not attaching yourself to them, you're not reacting to them, you're not struggling with them, your manifestation is going to skip over all of those things. Just because you have perceived roadblocks doesn't mean they have to be. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay. I also want to mention one more thing, which is we create our reality through what we observe, but also through how we observe it. It's not just through what we observe, it's how we observe. So, great example. My water bottle. I don't know why it's always like a point of reference, probably because it's always around. So I'm observing my water bottle. That's it. Okay, I'm observing my water bottle. I'm creating my reality right now in this moment with this water bottle. But how am I observing it? Am I observing it on one end of the spectrum or the other? Am I observing it in love? I love the colors of this water bottle. It really vibes with my energy. Or I hate this water bottle because I went through a car accident and this water bottle was with me and it's created a negative association. Or are you truly in 0 point frequency? Are you truly in neutrality when you observe? When you observe elements of your reality in pure objective neutrality, you leave all of the doors open for an infinite number of timelines. As I observe this objectively, with not a negative or a positive association, anything is possible. This could be good or bad in the next moment. We have to be secure enough and in surrender enough and in trust enough to be in that objective place, because just as much as the good could happen, the bad could happen as well. When we only observe this in the positive, we close half the doors. Maybe we don't learn. Maybe there's no lesson. Maybe there's no challenge. When we only observe this in the negative, we close off half the doors. Okay? So once again, we create our reality through what we observe, but also how we observe it. Perception is everything. Okay, so you've entered into the 5th dimension. How do you navigate it? So I've got 3 steps here, 3 things to think about when navigating the 5th dimension once we're in it. And then we'll get into the Q&A. So yeah, I see 2 questions here, so be sure to add questions too if you have if you have others as well. Okay, so step number 1 in how to navigate the 5th dimension. This is like the biggest step ever, always. Listen. Listen. All of your physical senses are heightened, but so are your vibrational and empathic senses. Smell, sight, touch, taste, and hearing, okay, all really heightened. But also, so are your emotional connections and sensitivities. So are your spiritual connections and sensitivities. If we're not listening, then we get sucked into all of the overstimulation of a heightened vibration. We have an anxiety attack, which I know all about, and we bring ourselves back into 3D. A panic attack, by getting overstimulated and overwhelmed, is basically our body's way of putting us back in to the 3rd dimension, where it's simpler, it's easier, it's less stimulating. All right. So please be aware of your inputs and your outputs. Think about it. How much am I reacting to life? No, how much am I reacting to life? Because life is coming at you. And how much am I creating life? And I want you to write that question down in your notebook. How much am I reacting to life? And how much am I creating life? Where are your inputs versus your outputs? It's got to be balanced. It's got to be balanced. Most of the time, most people just allow life to happen to them and say, yes, no, yes, no. They don't realize that in the space in between of the reaction, we can actually ask for what we want. Then we don't even have to say yes or no when it comes back around, because you've already asked for it. You've already said yes to it. You get a follow-up question. Do you really want this thing? And you can say yes or no. Okay. So listen, listen, listen. There is way more overstimulation in the 5th dimension because we aren't fully acclimated to it yet. All these new doorways are opening up. We're in between all of the timelines and opportunities, and we're just not used to being in that space. So it's very overwhelming to navigate. All right. What else? What else? Listen to your inner knowing. Really, listen. Okay. It has all of the answers for you. The easiest way to listen to your inner knowing is to get out of polarity and into 0-point neutrality. All right. The more you look outside of yourself, the more confused you will become. I'm going to repeat that because it's really, really important. The more you look outside of yourself, the more confused you become. Because you're allowing another input. You're allowing another input. You're asking the tarot card deck again and again. You don't know what you want, but you're giving your power away to a psychic, to an oracle card deck, to the friend, to a mother. Stop. We can't do that in the 5th dimension anymore. You have to be the sole source of your own knowledge. You can't say, well, what's going to be good for me? Do you think bananas are going to be good for me? No one knows that answer but you. And you will never know that answer unless you try, you trust, you surrender, and you listen. All right. All right. Step number 2 to navigating the 5th dimension. Surrender. Similar to a crystalline child, there is no longer room for holding anything in the 5th dimension. There is no room for holding anything. No reactions, no attachments, no resentments, no pain, no trauma. Moving into a higher frequency means you are showing up in your full capacity exactly as you are in the present moment. There's no ulterior motives. There's no I'm a different person on the back end. There's no baggage. There's none of that. You will be unable to even be in the fifth dimension if you hold any of that. Okay.